All right, welcome to today's recording. So today we're covering the final tool that's within the writing skills. So we've been covering the tools from the promotion playbook. And in this series, we're keeping the videos to 5 minutes or less, with a few videos going a little bit longer. But this one's really exciting. This is one of my favorite templates here because I recently learned that if you look at people that are successful at promotion, most of these people are able to tell good stories. Or if you just look specifically at people that can give good presentations or give good or can do oral boards really well, or can speak really well. And usually they have some good stories that they can tell really well. And a lot of times, sometimes the skill of telling stories, well, actually the skill of telling stories is one of the most important life skills that you can have, because through stories, we pass on traditions. Through stories, we can influence people. Through stories, we're able to portray our beliefs. And the stories that we tell ourselves dictates our beliefs about how we see the world and how we relate with others. So our beliefs, our identity are all integrated into stories. And so spending the time to be able to tell good stories is a skill of the utmost importance, especially for your promotional test. If you're testing for a company officer or above, because a big part of being able to get through assessment centers is be able to communicate well in written and spoken format. Part of that is portraying good stories. So here's the parts of it. So to tell a good story, you have to have a good flow to your stories. And so this simple outline in the promotion playbook gives you an overview of a real basic guideline to structuring your stories. An example where you could use this is that in your oral boards, you want to tell a story of why you want to promote, who you are, and what you've done to prepare. Those are all three different stories you really want to have ready going into your assessment center. So here's the basic parts of the story. So there's basically just 5 steps to this. Again, you can get more in depth on this. I kept it as simple as possible, but getting really clear on these 5 elements will help you to structure your stories so that you can tell them well. So here it is. The first one is who. You can, if you want, you could also include a backstory. So before you start this, you could say, here's the backstory, and then you get into these 5 elements. The first one is who. Who is the main character in the story? The next one is where does this story take place? The next part, the who and where kind of go together. You could start with the where first and layer in the who, or you could start with the who. You think about it, a common start to a story is, once upon a time in this village, there lived a boy named whatever. Or once upon a time, far, far away, there in a galaxy, far, far away, there was these are the characters. So most movies and stories start off with kind of the who and the where can be intertwined as part of your introduction. What do they want? So the want is the desire that the character has. And I'll explain that in just a minute with the example, but without a desire, you don't have so much of a story. So who are they? Where does it take place? What do they want? And once they have this desire or something they want, then there's something that shows up that keeps them from getting what they want. Sorry if the video needs to catch up. The internet's a little bit weird here, and occasionally the video gets caught up. But so who, where, want, what's the problem? And then the resolve is, how is the problem resolved? So here's an example. So this is from the promotion playbook. So who is firefighter Jake? He works for Canyon Fire Department in Arizona. He wants to be successful at promotion, and he wants to follow his father's footsteps, who was the chief before him. So Jake wants to be successful with his promotional test. The problem is that he keeps failing his promotional test. And the resolve is that he finds a great mentor who helps him succeed, and it has a happy ending of him placing #1 on the promotional test. So if you want to watch the previous video on this, again, this is only 5 minutes, so I'm not going to get in depth, but this template gives you some examples of stories that you want to have ready. And then it also, that's the time. So it also just gives this writing. It's a 1-page, print out several of these or make copies of them from the promotion playbook and just practice writing out your stories to these questions. So what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? When have you successfully managed conflict? Why do you want to promote? What have you done to prepare? All these oral board questions can be structured into a story. And in that story, you want to layer in the facts as to the logical reasons as to why you're the best person for the position. So you can find out more at get the promotion playbook. If you want to find out more, you can watch the previous recordings on this. You can go to season 1 of the podcast, or you can go to YouTube, and I've done more videos of these. If you want more advanced training, we'll actually help you to structure your stories. And we have a lot of feedback and coaching and practice oral boards, phone calls, have you do videos like this. Go to promotionplaybook.com, and I'm currently running programs where you can get more support, more help and things like that. Also, if you could like or subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll talk to you on the next episode.